100 meters, turn left. Recalculating route. In 100 meters, turn right. In 400 meters, turn right. Turn around when it is safe to do so. In 100 meters, turn left.
I don't believe this. Our last fare left a bad review. Way too fast, reckless driving, no conversation, 0 stars. The nerve of him. Oh, well, it doesn't seem to have lessened demand. I've been hoping to increase efficiency, so I went down to the Horizon Auto Show and spoke to a young man named Jamin. He seemed like a nice guy, so I let him make some changes to the car. Not sure what they were. Tell me if you notice any difference.
In 200 meters, turn left. Turn left.
Just wait here. I'll text the passenger. Oh, wait. Oh, no. The passenger wants a driver that can drive like crazy. You do know how to do that, right?
Hiya, I'm headed for a house on Derwent Water, please. First day and night at the festival have been incredible. Now it's time for the after party. Oh, you're not the driver with the bad review, are you? I was hoping I'd get you. Too fast, too slick, and no talking. Sounds like the best taxi ride ever for a Londoner. Let's go. That was fantastic. I came to Horizon for the music. Had no idea I'd actually get to race as well. Jess, it's me. Remember that hilarious Aisha's taxi review we read? I got that driver. Yeah. You're at the party? Cool. I'll be there in, I don't know, about 10 seconds at this rate.
Turn around when it is safe to do so.
Thank you so much. I have a great festival. Here, I'm giving you a 5-star review right now. If it went higher than that, I would.
meters, turn right. Turn right. In 400 meters, turn right. Turn right. In 400 meters, turn left. Turn left. Recalculating route. In 400 meters, turn right. Turn right. You have arrived at your destination.
idea you could even compete, let alone pull off a win like that.
What I quite like about your style of driving is that I can prepare each of your qualifying rounds so far in advance. New events have been added to your schedule.
Arrived at your destination.
People on the Horizon subreddit are telling weird abandoned car stories, and I know it's the internet, but one of these is too good not to go check out.
In 400 meters, turn left. Turn left. In 100 meters, turn right. You have arrived at your destination. 500 meters. Turn left. You have arrived at your destination. meters. Turn left. Recalculating route. Turn right. In 100 meters, turn left. Turn right. 100 meters, turn left. In 400 meters, turn left. Turn left. You have arrived at your destination.
Did I tell you? You're in the next round of street scene. Wicked, right? We're gonna... Sorry. I mean... Psst. You're in the next round of street scene.
100 meters. Turn left. You have arrived at your destination. have arrived at your destination.
Great to see you. We're shooting a documentary about car culture in the UK, and I need a second driver. You've made a name for yourself, and it would be great to have you aboard. It's simple. You drive, I tell the story. Let's do it. From Aston Martin to McLaren and Bentley, Great Britain is home to over a century of automotive excellence. I'm Rebecca Dawson. Welcome to British Racing Green, a documentary celebrating that history. The Aston Martin DB5 Vantage was the quintessential Grand Tourer of the 1960s, combining British engineering and Italian design. The Vantage featured side-draft carburetors and a refined camshaft profile, capable of a blistering top speed of 162 miles an hour in 1964. The clean lines of Superleggera's bodywork, reclining seats and wool carpets created a car that was luxurious as well as fast. This car would form the basis for the DB range, with later cars improving on the design in many ways. But none would ever achieve the sheer iconic perfection of the Vantage.
In 200 meters, turn left.
For all of its beauty and engineering perfection, only 65 of these beautiful machines would ever be built. If you own one, you own a piece of British history.
In 200 meters, you will arrive at your destination.
The silver DB5 would be immortalized in half a century of cinema. The classic Aston Martin. But in 2016, a new DB was unveiled, heralding the dawn of Aston Martin's second century. The DB11 is the first production turbocharged Aston Martin. But is it a worthy successor to that legacy? The short answer is yes. It's bold, responsive, and agile. It's perhaps the best GT chassis in the world. And listen to it. Able to hit 60 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds, the DB11's 5.2-litre twin-turbo V12 boasts a top speed of over 200 miles an hour. The DB11 is not the fastest car in the world, but then it's not trying to be. It's sophisticated, effortless luxury. It's an Aston Martin. The DB11's front strakes channel air to create a virtual spoiler, providing downforce without compromising the car's clean lines. Brilliant. Most importantly, I think, the DB11 proves that Aston Martin is ready for another century of beautiful cars. And I can't wait. Beautiful as they are, Aston Martins are only one of many cars made in the United Kingdom. Let's see what else is out there. This is shaping up nicely. Time for a change of pace, though. At least at first. The next segment is about Land Rover, and we'll be starting out with the Type 3. Land Rover, the British sports utility vehicle. But before that, they were actual utility vehicles. Solid, tough trucks, unstoppable over almost any terrain.
In 400 meters, turn left.
The Land Rover Type 3 marks the point where that shift begins. And we'll be looking at what that meant.
Recalculating route.
Land Rovers have taken on almost every task imaginable. They've been generators, tractors and ambulances. They've brought peace and carried medicines to disaster zones. They've even been buses. Over 500,000 Series 3s were built, and over 70% of those are still on the road today. They were extensively exported and built under license abroad. Belgium, South Africa, even Australia and New Zealand. With a robust chassis and signature Land Rover engineering, the Type 3 also marked the first time that buyers could choose interior options, like seat box protectors and cubby boxes. That trend continued, and by 1982, Land Rover were offering the county spec Type 3. Leisure drivers could choose from such luxuries as all-cloth seats, soundproofing and tinted glass. The trend was increasingly clear, and the future of the Land Rover was starting to take shape. If you squinted, you could already see the shape of the first sports utility vehicle, the Range Rover. In 1978, a Series 3 was custom-built for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. It only had 1,892 miles on the clock when it was auctioned into private hands. And it was in perfect condition. It would be. After all, she trained as a mechanic in the 1940s and will likely remain the only royal able to strip and rebuild an engine. Along with the Range Rover, others would follow. Discovery, Defender, and the Freelander. Each a more sophisticated and enjoyable utility vehicle. But none of them were a replacement for the Type 3. They were a different kind of car. The Type 3 was arguably the first sports utility vehicle, an evolution of the design that would lead ultimately to this. The Bowler Nemesis, an off-road racing vehicle that turned into a production SUV, the Nemesis EXR. It sports a turbocharged 5-litre Land Rover Jaguar engine, crammed into a carbon fibre chassis with integral roll cage. It even has the grille, headlights and rear lights from a Range Rover.
In 400 meters, turn left. Turn left. In 400 meters, turn right. Turn right. In 200 meters, turn left. Turn left. You have arrived at your destination.
Ooh, a BMW 1M. Great car. Hang on, that's my BMW 1M. Seriously? Not funny. Who gave Stig the keys? Seriously? Not funny. Who gave Stig the keys? I mean, I literally just cleaned it. Now it's going to smell of onions. Oda Stig. It's electronically restrained to 155 miles an hour, but it could definitely go quicker.
In 100 meters, turn right. In 200 meters, turn left. Turn left.
That's the last time we leave Stig unattended. Am I the only one who remembers Budapest? Does 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds. My 1M. Stig's way beyond that now. Well, this isn't stressful to watch. Not at all.
In 400 meters, turn left.
It's a BMW, so of course it's rear-wheel drive. 50-50 weight distribution too. It's a natural-born drifter. One of the best BMWs ever made, this. Born to be driven by me. Got to admit, though, Stig does kind of suit it.
At the roundabout, take the second exit.
There now. Oh, what a shame. I was really getting into that. Just park it up now, Stig, and mind the curbs. Now, anyone else want to go? No? Don't say I didn't ask. Right. Back to the actual script now, if you don't mind. This is Top Gear's Tractor. It's a tractor, obviously, but with a 5.7-litre Chevy V8 making 500 horsepower. And here comes the Stig again. Farm Stig. Born in a barn, they say, weaned by pigs, can plough a field in under 6 seconds. There's a speed camera on the M68. Rumour has it, it only flashes above 87.2 miles an hour. Our tractor has been officially clocked at 87.2 miles an hour, making it the world's fastest tractor. But I reckon it'll go even faster. Steady on, Stig. Those are 54-inch mud tyres, remember? They get a bit squishy through the corners. Nobody needs to get the harvest in that quickly. Right, here comes the speed camera. Hope they put some film in it. Whoa! Have you ever seen anything like it? That's a new tractor speed record and some impressively fast farming. If you want to spread slurry in a hurry, you know what you need. Now, though, it's time to hail a ride in something completely different. called a cab earlier. Local company, Aisha's Taxis. Excellent service. Got me here in no time. Unsurprising, really. I mean, look at what turned up. Hands down the quickest cab I've ever been in. Which got me thinking, how fast could this thing actually go? So I had a word with Aisha, asked if we could borrow her cab for a trip to the seaside. To Bamborough Beach, in fact, where we could stretch the taxi's legs a bit. Although, I might have forgotten to tell her who'd be driving. You've guessed it. The cabbie who'll always get you to your destination very early, but probably won't be anywhere near where you asked to go. The acceleration is brutal. Hope that meter charges by the minute. This could be a cheap ride.
In 200 meters, turn left.
Holding adrift is a delicate balance of throttle, steering and shouting. Now that's what I call a cab. No clattery diesel engine here. This is a V12 with over 750 horsepower, plus bucket seats. Beaded bucket seats, presumably. From now on, I say all cabs should have wide bodies and flared arches. Think about it. More stability, more speed, more downforce, more room for your terrified passengers. It even has slick tyres for maximum grip on a bone-dry drag strip. So they should be interesting when we hit the beach.
In 400 meters, turn left. Turn left. In 400 meters, turn left. Recalculating route. In 200 meters, turn right.
Good work from the Stig there. I'd say we're nicely warmed up for the next bit. So here we are then. In the old days, daredevils used smooth, sandy beaches like this to see how fast their cars could go. Many early land speed records were set on beaches. Miles of space, nothing to hit. Sounds easy, right? Oh, look at that! Laying some pretty squirmy tracks there, Stiggy. That's what happens with 750 horsepower on sand. But that's the challenge here. Go as fast as possible all the way to the top of the beach. The thing is, there's something I haven't told the Stig. speed record rules say you must do 2 runs, one in each direction before the clock runs out, which means, Stiggy, pulling off the world's swiftest U-turn, which of course is when the handbrake comes in handy. A 5-star ride from the Stig there. Minicab, maximum speed. Next time I need a ride to the airport, I know who I'm calling. And all of this off-road action has given me an idea.
You've rampaged into the next round of street scene. Seriously. All these racers are terrified of what you're going to do next.
You have arrived at your destination.